Today we were talking about some deleted scenes that you will probably never see. It could be for various reasons. This is actually supposed to be about deleted scenes that may or may not exist. Um, but most of them just trended towards you'll never see them. So there's one that's a little bit out of place. You'll know it when you see it. And it's not in any particular order. So, first of all, we have Spider Man 3. And we were originally supposed to have a scarier ending. I don't know, man. Apparently, the death of Venom and Eddie Brock was supposed to be different and stranger. This YouTuber, uh, wait, I gotta figure out how to say that. Magintasia Films, I think that's how you would say it, has tried to recreate it with the little footage we have, some concept art, some toys, and a little clip from the actual movie. So, let's watch it, shall we? So that's from the actual movie. There's some concept art. That's the remnant of the deleted scene. There's more of that. There's toy leaks. That's actually from the Comic-Con trailer. And then that's more of that from the deleted scene. I couldn't tell you what this is supposed to be. There's this shot, which I can't tell if it's so hilariously goofy or if it's actually a little unsettling to look at. Um, I don't want to look at that anymore. See how I just laughed and said I didn't want to look at that anymore? It's the mystery and intrigue you get with this channel. Honestly, I don't think this would have been much different. My theory is that because you can see Eddie Brock's skeleton for like a split second when the symbiote is blown up by the bomb. That's what the bones is, but I didn't explain that in the right order. So, this scene right here from the final movie, where Venom is detached from Eddie, and he's just a big old monster, was gonna go at Spider Man, which would cause this thing to wobble. I don't know what's happening with this mic, man, because I just pressed a button to record and it took a photo instead, and then I hit it the same way again and it started recording. But then after, like, when he goes to attack Spider-Man and, like, he's trying to rip him apart like this, that is a really weird shot. And then the explosion would have happened and we would have seen Eddie's skeleton, and then the rebar fall over, and that's what you're seeing here. That's my theory. Next, we have the crash scene from Cars 3. So I found this video by Preble Stadium, I think that's how you would say it, where he talks about how there's actually 3 different versions of the same scene in Cars 3, all with slight variations. So there's the teaser trailer, which has it's less saturated. It's during the day. It looks more real. We have this like preview version. I have no idea what this is or how it came to be, but there's that. It looks very similar to the final scene, but some things are just slightly tweaked. And this is the only video we have of it. It's very low quality. And then we have the final scene in the actual movie, which looks, again, just a little bit different. I think, I don't think it's actually a different scene. I think maybe the original trailer was going to be the final scene, but they wanted to go back in, maybe change the time of day, a few less things to make it more kid-friendly. Our next one I have actually talked about before on this channel, so I'll try to be a bit more brief. We have the scrapped ending of the movie Prisoners. So if you've seen the movie, spoiler alert, if you haven't, go watch it. It's very good. I won't be as aggressive as last time I talked about this. But at the end of the movie, the detective is trying to find a guy who's missing, and he's underground. And it's unclear whether he actually finds him or not in the movie. And if you don't want the perfect ending of this to be ruined with an actual answer, I would suggest just clicking ahead a little bit, when you violently assault the side of your phone screen to skip ahead. You know what I mean? High five. You just skipped 10 seconds. What am I going on and on about? But basically, it is the real ending that they actually filmed was that he actually finds Keller underground, and he gets arrested, and he's in big trouble because he tortured a guy. And, I mean, yeah, that's the most logical answer. That's what it's supposed to imply. But they filmed it, but it was unnecessary. Because we don't need that ending. It's better left ambiguous. It's better that it keeps you thinking than just an ending that you're just like, alright, that was good. And then you don't instantly forget about it, but it doesn't stick in your mind as long as it does. With that said, it would be awesome if they released this on a Blu-ray. I would buy the Blu-ray of this movie just to see that deleted scene. I don't know, and I'll probably bring this up again. What is the point of fully finishing a scene just to delete it off the face of the earth? Like, I understand deleting it from the movie, but to just never release it? The only time this is warranted is if something actually awful happened. For example, The Crow 94. This next one, I haven't actually seen the movie, World War Z. And I'm not talking about the alternate ending. They actually started filming a sequel. Yes, actually. Like, the script was finished for World War Z 2. And they started filming, not with Brad Pitt, but they started filming it nonetheless. And honestly, I forget. I think the reason it was canceled is because it had budgetary issues, but also something to do with rights. Why is it not? But it's just interesting to me how they started filming a movie just to completely scrap it. Hey, wait a minute. I'll do you one better. What about entirely finishing a movie just to delete it? Just to entirely scrap it off the face of the earth? I'm talking about Batgirl. Is there a worse company than Warner Bros.? And honestly, I really wish they didn't delete this, because not only was it going to have a really cool Batsuit for Batgirl, it was going to have Michael Keaton in it, and they were going to adapt a Batman villain that I think is criminally underrated criminal, as I call him, Firefly. I really like Firefly. He blows up buildings. That's his whole thing. He's cool. Why, Warner Bros.? And I would be saying the same about Coyote vs. Acme, but thank the gods at Ketchup Entertainment. They have bought the movie, and it's going to release. Let's go! The next movie I have seen, and it's pretty recent, it is the new action comedy movie Novocaine. Look, I even drew the poster of it. That's pretty cool. This one is a rabbit hole. This one's a doozy. So, riddle me this, Batman. What do you see that's common or similar between this poster, this poster, and this poster? And even my hand-drawn version of this poster. If you said pizza cutter, you'd be correct. But yet, the pizza cutter is nowhere to be seen in the movie. Maybe I missed it. Maybe it was a blink and you'll miss it thing, and I just happened to miss it. But the pizza cutter was nowhere to be seen. Alright, buckle up, because here's my conspiracy theory. Oh no, why is it... Wait, what are we doing? I don't know what happened there. My screen recording was bugging. So it looks like the pizza cutter was intended to be slicing his face open. This injury can be seen heavily in the marketing. And yeah, maybe you could say this phenomenon can be explained. After all, it does appear in the movie eventually. Now, basing it off this trailer and what I can remember from the movie, well, it's not something you would super pay attention to in the movie, but just basing it off of this trailer, it's made to look like he got this injury in the pizza... No, wait, not from a pizza cutter, but in this tattoo parlor scene. Right after he gets thrown into this glass. And yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that explains it. Mystery solved, right? But there's a much more likely scene the pizza cutter would show up in. The first actual fight scene in this movie, unless you're counting the bank robbery scene, is this kitchen scene, where he surprisingly does not get cut with a pizza cutter. He doesn't have it here, nor here, nor here, or here. Now, the movie isn't available to stream, so I couldn't confirm this, but I think I remember the next scene being like a scene where he calls his friend, and it was like a little out of place, almost like they did reshoots and threw it in last minute. Oh my god. You might not know it because it released in February, but this is actually originally intended to be a Christmas movie. So my best guess is that they wanted to go back and reshoot something, maybe throw in that car scene where he makes a phone call, to help with continuity reasons. Maybe they threw in that kitchen scene, or alternate or something, right up until where he gets thrown against the glass. Then from there, it's the original movie again, which is why it didn't have a Christmas release, and instead released in February. But what about one everybody is glad died and stayed dead where it should be? Go back to hell, you foul beast! Sonic. It's just crazy to me that there's an entire other... words. It's just crazy to me that there's an entire other Sonic movie that just is gone. I am glad it's gone. I think everybody is glad this cursed thing went back to hell, where it belongs. But it's just... They spent so much money on the CGI and stuff. Or maybe not. Just for it to be nuked off the face of the earth. Like, part of me is glad it's dead, and most of me is glad it's dead, actually. But part of me kind of wants to see it. Like, I wouldn't watch the movie, but I want it to be released just because it's so awful, and it'd be funny. But hard pivoting from something that was so ugly it would have made the movie bomb to something that is supposedly so disturbing that it would have made the movie X-rated, and apparently we gotta treat it like Voldemort and not say what it is, because we have the semi-infamous Joker bathtub scene. What this would have been, the cast has confirmed, or I don't know who it was. It was either Joaquin Phoenix himself or the director. I forget who. But whoever it was that said this said it wasn't anything where the actor was naked and that would have made the movie NC-17 or X-rated. But instead it was just disturbing. Your guess is as good as mine. I have two theories. One is maybe it was a... How do I say this without getting the video taken down? A unaliving attempt, I guess. It was maybe that, but I think the more likely thing is he was supposed to cut his face into like the Glasgow smile, which was actually supposed to be in another scene, where he's on top of a car and there's like all sorts of riots and stuff. He was supposed to cut his face then, but there was something with the rights issues where, due to the other adaptation of the Joker, they weren't allowed to do that. Earlier when I said these are not numbered in a specific order, well, I guess they kind of are, because this is the most infuriating one. That we do not have this scene. It is the Amazing Spider-Man 2 extended ending. I surprisingly did not talk about this in my 10 movie alternate endings video, because I didn't know it existed. But this would have made the movie so much better, and it would have gone so hard. So when Gwen Stacy dies in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, instead of just cutting straight to the funeral, it was going to have an extended fight scene. So this piece of footage is from the actual movie right here, but in a second it's going to cut to like 2 seconds of him screaming, which is from the deleted ending right there. Did you see it? I hope you did, because I'm not rewinding it. Then there are a few just images which looked so cool. This YouTuber, Salvador Preza, has put like a couple dialogues over it. Or maybe not. Maybe I was thinking of a different one. But right here, I don't know if you can see it. I'll just show it on screen. But as you can see here, he was supposed to go back up and almost kill the Green Goblin. Like, he wouldn't kill him, although I feel like he probably would have in this scene. But that would have just killed any future sequels. So, he would, like, beat him nearly to death. Like, he'd be on the brink of death. Dude, this scene was, like, finished. Look at that. Look at that. This is probably amazing acting by Andrew Garfield. Probably the best scene. It would have been probably the best scene in the movie. It looks so high quality, so high budget. Why? Why would you not release this? It's not even a tax write-off like Warner Bros. They just deleted the scene from the movie. The scene would have made the movie better. And not only did they delete it, they deleted it. They didn't release it as a deleted scene. It's just on a server somewhere, waiting to be released, dying. I know when people aren't a fan of how something turns out, they'll say, well, we did this before. We got them to release the Snyder Cut. We got them to change Sonic. We can do it again. And they do that for everything. Genuinely, though, release this scene. Do it. We need everybody to just collectively wake up one day and say, hey, you know what? This would have been cool as hell. Why did you delete this? Do mass protests, riots in the street. Okay, not actually. I'm not condoning rioting. I am not condoning rioting. But people peacefully protesting online, saying, "Hey, Sony, you're a phony." Because we need this scene. The public needs to see this. At least we have the other alternate ending I talked about in a different video. I'm actually surprised we have this, because it seems like it was considerably lower budget than the other scene that they deleted and didn't release, but they released this one, where Peter Parker's dad is alive and he comes back, which raises a million questions. I'm kind of glad they cut this, because everybody would just have so many questions. Why would you delete this? I'm getting too mad. This is deserving of a Primal Scream / Rage compilation. Enjoy.
That when this rage cannot stay buried in me for one more second, that a primal scream is the only satisfying release. You're a fraud, Spider-Man!
No! No! This is not how this was supposed to go! I got it all planned out! All right, P13, you win the prank on this.
I wish I could say you die alone, but it's one of God's best jokes that you can't die, except it's on all of us!
My daughter! Where's my daughter?
Understand that? Me, not you, but me! Every day! So forgive me for not going home to have a good night's rest!
They stole it from me, Carmine! They took it! That was today! I can't see the car. I got away! I can't see!